He's busy.
Still waiting on those 5 songs, James, at 1:38 p.m. Get a response at 2:20 p.m. Then I respond. Then after you're finished, I respond at 2:40. 20 minutes later, said legit. You're right.
Okay, but
I said legit. That's it. Just so you send it. Not that I actually like the fucking songs.
Like when you say legit, that's kind of what that means in my eyes. So it's different. We view shit different. It's cool. It's cool.
Lost in translation there.
And I will always say this: people make time for what they want.
Yeah.
If you wanted to hear it, you had an ample amount of time.
Will not listen to you.
But it's okay.
I typically agree with you, but you have no idea what's happening on my end right now.
I know, but that's why I said it's whatever. Like, I'm not taking it that serious.
You're bottom rung.
You ready to count us down while you drink your fucking wine?
What are you drinking?
It's cran apple.
Yeah.
Are you on your period?
No, bitch. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to All Sorts of Sports, episode the fuck ever.
23.
Oh, Jordan. Okay, cool.
I thought you were going to get LeBron. I'm proud of you.
I mean, 23 is always going to be Jordan. It is what it is. We don't have, this episode's not going to be a long one, but we're going to do the best we can. A lot of shit has happened.
Wait. It's sponsored by Roman, and we've gone full circle.
A lot of shit has happened.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to get into COVID just yet, so I'm going to save that for the next one. But the first thing we're going to talk about is the Texans firing Bill O'Brien.
Okay. Bill O'Brien
has
always been a bad coach, and he's only propped up by the talent that he had. And then he started giving his talent away. And then he's like, nothing. Oh, I can't coach. And I got a superstar quarterback. What's going on here? And then he yelled at J.J. Watt. And I think
he was a GM and the head coach.
He's trying to do too much.
And he was trying to call the plays now. The funny thing is, I had a Deshaun Watson rookie card on eBay. And as soon as he got fired, someone bought it.
Yeah,
because everyone knows that he's ruining Deshaun's career.
Look, I'd be the first to say I'm actually, for the most part, up until fairly recently, a Bill O'Brien fan. The only thing with Billy O'Brien, following his days, if I'm not mistaken, at Boston College and other things along those lines, I've been a Bill O'Brien fan. Now, that being said, he has fundamentally ruined the Texas organization in the sense of, like, what he's been trying to do with leaving his mark. It almost reminds me of like what Chip Kelly did in Philadelphia before they ended up winning a Super Bowl with Doug Peterson, is that there's talent that's there, but you can't demonstrably say that it's a better team this year than it was last year or the year before. And it's strictly because of the moves he makes. And then if you also look at it, you can't say the team is demonstrably better, but they have the worst salary cap situation in the entire NFL. They pay more for that roster than any other team, and
it's not a winning roster right now.
It's not a winning team. I mean, the wide receiving core, like losing DeAndre Hopkins.
It's not losing DeAndre. It's not like he
not
died in a car wreck.
Purposefully,
they moved
sending him away. Right.
That was a terrible example. Just so you know, Ryan.
No, I'm like he wasn't lost in the sense that like they couldn't have had him on the team. He's not gone.
It wasn't a Le'Veon Bell situation.
Yeah.
It wasn't DeAndre was DeAndre was basically just there. The only point of contention you really see is like the story that just came out that he was in a screaming match with J.J. Watt.
And you know who they love more than anybody, more than Deshaun Watson? It's J.J. Watt.
That's the thing is like you're not going to be you can't get on that level as far as a coach thinking you're going to scream and yell at people because look, if you look across the NFL right now, there's not a lot of those guys that exist anymore. They've kind of run those guys off for the most part as far as the yelling and the screamers. And if you're going to be a yeller or a screamer, you better have the fucking you better have the resume to back that shit up. I mean, the most you get is some strict guys like the Tom Coughlins who aren't even a head coach anymore. But you got the Tom Coughlins that weren't really screamers; they just held you accountable. I'm looking across the league as far as the dudes that might even be in that category, and I don't really know if I know any. But maybe Matt Patricia up in Detroit. You see how that's going? Like it's just not.
I don't think Bill even yells at him. Well, yeah, he does. But Bill is an accountability guy too.
Tomlin yells.
Tomlin's also a guy that all of their players know that he's going to back them up, and they respect the shit.
And they respect the shit out of him.
I mean, that's kind of what JJ said at the end.
Not to mention Super Bowl.
And I don't think that O'Brien didn't have the locker room, and so basically all he was doing was playing GM, which he was also terrible at, as we can see from his roster moves.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
what they trade for Brandon Cooks.
I think it was 6 of the pink Starburst and a Sprite.
No,
if I'm not
more than
mistaken.
that.
It was firstborn child and a bunch of other stuff. They got wasn't it they gave up more?
What they get? I'm sorry.
They gave up more for Brandon Cooks than they gave up more for Brandon Cooks than they got for DeAndre Hopkins. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I think the Cooks deal was worse for Bill O'Brien than the deal to send Diggs to the Bills was. So it made.
Yeah, it was bad. It was all.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And I kind of understand it. Like you will try and wear too many hats, and you're not good at wearing hats at all. It becomes overwhelming you could wear one hat, but I'm sure if you put 3 hats on your head, it would get a little cumbersome.
I just see an old team name that doesn't exist anymore hat next to me. I'm not going to put that on too.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying like
you should for the content.
He was trying to do too much of stuff that he was at best okay at, and it just didn't work out. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he'll end up as a coordinator somewhere. He's not out of a job. He's just not a good head coach.
Which is some of these guys just aren't built for that. The head coach responsibility, not to mention like it's hard pressed for that man to have gotten that much power without having to prove anything.
Right.
That to me is like the rarefied air you have to be in to get complete control over an organization is insane. Like even a name that just popped up about the COVID stuff was like Mike Holmgren. Like even with that, it was a big deal. Like you're talking about dudes that have a pedigree that even get that. And even those guys, when they have that much power, it rarely ever fully works out for them. I mean, if you want to look at like the best coach in the NFL, maybe the greatest coach in the history of the NFL, you look at Bill Belichick. He's not calling plays. He knows that he puts guys in the front office to just understand where he's coming from. Like he still has pretty much final say other than Robert Kraft. But you cannot do the job by doing everything all at once. And you see a lot of times as soon as one of those guys leaves,
job.
Mike Holmgren, even the ones that I just said, he built up that Seattle team with Matt Hasselbeck or what have you. They were a playoff team. But it wasn't until Pete Carroll came in, changed up a few things, and then they could go to the next place. It's just it takes a lot to get there.
I think they were too comfortable. Janice, the owner, and Bill O'Brien were just too comfy, and she just kind of was like gave him the reins.
They were winning the AFC South, which doesn't really mean shit because that division.
I mean, it's a trash division, and they won it with significantly really better pieces, or they were winning it. Like you see what happens when you don't like. I think a Bill Belichick could take the team. A Bill Belichick, as in like a good coach, a good head coach, a good players coach, could take the team that the Texans have now, and at least they would probably be 2-2 right now, maybe. Like there's pieces there, but you trade away your superstars except for your quarterback and J.J. Watt, and you're left with a quarterback who doesn't have people he's used to throwing to, and a coach that sucks that can't put plays around him to make him into the elite quarterback that he is, and you're going to be an 0-14. Like I don't know what else to tell you. There's no excuse for that.
He's not going to be the only coach that gets fired by the end of this season, but I will say, looking at next season of all the coaches I think that are going to be on the hot seat, it's the best gig that'll be available.
Oh,
and I don't think it's going to be close. Like the most important piece is a franchise quarterback. And there's not anyone walking around saying Deshaun Watson's not a franchise quarterback.
And can you imagine, like, let's say they can't fully turn it around. They have, like, a mediocre season. They end up drafting, like, a wide receiver or two and a couple DBs and a one more lineman. They're right fucking set. They're right there.
How is their line?
Huh?
Is their offensive line good at all?
It's hard to say. Like, that's the thing with offensive lines. Unless you're really getting in the weeds with everything, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what it is you have with an offensive line. Sometimes an offensive line gets masked by just play calling and what it is you're able to do.
He doesn't get sacked a lot.
And that was always the thing that I don't know. I'm not going to be completely honest. I don't know. But if I'm looking at it just overall as far as like the run game or everything else, I don't think they've been miserable. I don't think they've been terrible. But I also know that there's a lot of stuff you could do if you have like a DeAndre Hopkins that could take the top off of things that will leave a defense a little more honest as far as what it is they need to do.
Yeah, you're not bringing your safeties into blitz if Hopkins is on the field.
Right. Like, what did they do? They what was it?
Hold on. Ryan, you way off.
Yeah.
Why?
He gets hit a lot.
He gets hit or sacked?
Sacked.
How many sacks?
So both. Throughout what was it? This is May. This is before the season started.
No, I'm talking about this season.
He had 84. He got sacked 84 times, including a league high 62 in 2018.
This season, 2018. It's 2020.
I know, but you see what I'm saying? He's getting hit.
That's his.
I remember that.
2 years ago.
I remember that was a whole narrative of him getting hit. So hold on, I'm gonna keep going.
You just asked me how is his line, not how is the line from 2 years.
You said
ago.
he doesn't get hit, so I'm just refuting your point.
From this.
All right, I'm going.
Ask me about this year.
I'm going for this season. Calm down. Calm down. All right, so week 1 he got sacked 4 times. Week 2, 4 times. Week 3, 5 times. Week 4, 3 times.
That's not a lot. We took
down. What do you mean it's not a lot?
Took down Carson Wentz like 8 times week 1. That's a lot.
It was almost a record.
Yeah.
4 times is not bad.
If you're consistently getting hit like that,
but
that's bad.
He scrambles. Like, that's not only his line. He scrambles out left. He might get hit.
All I'm saying is
if he's scrambling, that's because you're getting
in the weeds. You're getting in the weeds. What I'm saying right now overall is that if you look at the salary cap as far as what that team is, and I was put a gun to your head and told you to name me all the players on that team compared to the 2018 roster. The 2018 roster had Deshaun Watson, Lamar Miller, Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins. On defense, J.J. Watt, Whitney Mercilus, Davion Clowney, Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed, Kareem Jackson. You're talking about a team that had all of this talent, and through whatever reasons that Bill O'Brien had, decided to ship off all the guys who were damn near any good, other than the J.J. Watt. I'm saying the closest thing that it reminds me of is when Chip Kelly started ousting everybody in Philadelphia, which is that at the end of the day, you're not making your team better. What you're trying to do is have some ego thing where you want it to be a reflection of who you are, but it's not necessarily reflective in the talent. And he's been fucking that up as far as the contracts go and everything else. Because if the talent's not there and they do not have the salary cap to do so, who else are you going to offload in order to try to make that stuff up? He's creating a bad situation. Like, I will say from a talent standpoint, just because of Deshaun Watson, you have a very, very, very good looking team as far as any coach that would potentially want to look in, because it's the hardest thing to find is the franchise quarterback. That being said, you're also going to be hamstrung by a lot of things that go on as far as what happened in that front office with that salary cap.
Yep. Yeah, so you don't have the cap space to do what you need to do to protect that guy.
Right, but if they're 0-4, there's not a lot of guys that are going to be safe. So if you're not talking about taking a hit as far as the salary cap when it comes to signing bonuses, there's going to be a lot of people looking for jobs in Houston over the next couple of years.
And that's fine by me.
All right, we gotta move on though, because we gotta get to the COVID part.
Also, Tony LaStella just got hit by like 100-mile-per-hour fastball. It's not good.
Ooh, is he up or is he like
he is off the field. We'll see if he's okay. Let's go A's. Fuck Houston. Continue. COVID.
Stephon Gilmore tested positive. Was it today? I think it was today. This morning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the test had to have come in yesterday or the day before.
Maybe but the positive result was announced today.
Yeah, and they had just played Chiefs, and then of course, Pro Football Talk. First thing they put up is a picture of Gilmore and Mahomes like hugging after the game, and they're like, "Oh shit, season over." I I feel like this is going to continue to happen, especially considering the incubation period.
I think the only good thing that's going to come out of this is, I don't know if you guys saw that Mahomes released like either a statement or he's talking to somebody, like a reporter, and he's like, that was a lapse in judgment on my part because you're not supposed to go. I know they do after
6
games.
feet apart after the game.
And he's like, that's a lapse of judgment on my part. Can you imagine, like, if Patty Mahomes ends up getting coronavirus, which I really hope he doesn't, I think everybody around the league will stop and be like, oh shit, if we don't actually follow these rules, which they've been kind of iffy on them, as you can see on the sidelines with the coaches and the masks and the players after the game, I think that people may start taking it more seriously. Like, how did they let Stephon Gilmore play while he was potentially had COVID? And if that's going to be a common theme, if there's going to be a player with COVID, every other week, well, maybe we should start trying to stay away from each other as much as possible. There's no unnecessary hugging.
But I don't think, like, it's not fair to say, like, how they let him play with COVID. They just didn't know.
Well, we just saw what happened with the fucking Titans, so do we not know? I don't know.
They don't know. Like, when the tests come back and it's positive, then that's when all the shit happens. The issue with the Titans
were they testing appropriately is another thing.
Well, here's the thing that we're starting to realize, and you can see it coming out of what happens at the White House. There is a complete disconnect between people, organizations, what have you, everyone, basically, as far as what testing means compared to when you've been exposed to the virus compared to how long you're still contagious. There's a gap there. There's as far as what a lot of times you can get infected by COVID and not show any symptoms, be asymptomatic, and not show up positive on a test for 5 days.
Well, I mean, if they're properly quarantining, everybody should be negative.
But that's the thing, is that at the end of the day, when it comes to the properly quarantining thing, is that there's truly no way to completely do it.
Especially if you're a football player.
Right. Now,
like,
if you
can't practice.
The thing
how are you going to practice?
Everybody at practice should also be quarantined.
Wait. You're talking about a quarantine. Now, as far as quarantine goes, unless the league is coming out of their own pockets to put these players up in housing away from their homes and away from their families, then you can't. What I'm saying is that it's an impossibility to complete. Without a bubble, it's an impossibility to completely quarantine and cut every player, every staff member, everyone out of what it is that's happening. If I'm a trainer for the Titans organization and I'm making $50,000 a year and my wife's an essential worker that needs to fucking work and she goes out and comes home, I automatically have just broken the quarantine, but I still need to do this job. So unless the league is coming out of their pocket like the NBA did to make sure that these guys are going to be insulated, it's an impossibility. The only thing you can try to do is contact trace properly in order to stop the virus from completely spreading out over an entire team. But the fact is that the players are going to get infected, it's a known fact. It has to happen. Right, it scientifically has to happen.
But my only point is, okay, I'm not certain of this fact, but I can assume that most NFL players, their significant others are not essential workers. That may not be the case for all of them. But you go home, you have to – I mean, you're a professional football player. It's your job. If you're not willing to do it, then sit out the season. They gave you that option. If you're a trainer making $50,000 a year, I know lawyers that make less than that, and they go home. They haven't seen their parents in 6 months. That's what you have to do your job.
It's not about whether or not you're being careless. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying there's a difference between the guys like Darren Waller that wants to throw fucking events compared to a guy that's just in the settle line of work. Like, take, for instance, you. I know that you're doing everything you possibly can to do things safely from a general quarantine standpoint. But from the moment that you leave your house, regardless of anything, even if you have a mask on and the people next to you have a mask on, there's still a % chance of transmission. It's a fact. Like, as far as it removes the ability to easily transfer it.
Yeah, but
it's still transferable.
But
so if you go to the grocery store, if you go to court, if you go and meet up with a friend, regardless of how well you guys are doing it, the moment that you start extrapolating that number is the moment you start realizing it's an impossibility. The only thing you can try to do is limit the damage as much as possible, which is why right now the only team that you're hearing, as far as hearing anything when it comes to actual, all right, we're going to possibly bring the hammer down on you, is the Tennessee Titans. Because right now, nobody's blaming Cam Newton for getting COVID. Nobody's blaming Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, no.
Because you cannot 100%.
No, but you blame the organization. There's clearly
nobody's blaming the Patriots for this.
Nobody's blaming the Patriots. That's what I'm saying.
No, the NFL as an organization, they have not put the proper measures in place. If you got somebody making $50,000, put them up in a hotel for the season. They're not taking the proper precautions as a multi-billion-dollar company to make sure that their employees are staying safe. That's my only point.
So that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. But the point that it's an impossibility, yes, as it stands now, but that should not be the case.
That's what he said.
But my point is that the only way, period, across the entire country that it works is the Adam Silver model, which is that you completely quarantine everyone and you have a lock and you understand through the scope of testing and everything else, you have complete control over the entire thing. And even with that, they still have positive tests because it's still it's not perfect, but it's the most perfect system we could possibly have with this.
NBA had none, NHL had none under the same systems.
Oh no, the NBA did have positive COVID tests. They just didn't have anybody that necessarily infected everybody else, correct?
No, they had them outside the bubble. So they had,
before it started. Yeah, you're right.
After the bubble, it was
After
zero.
The bubble stopped,
it was zero for weeks.
And that's what the NBA. So what the NBA has basically done is listed off basically the only way in which you can do this. The only thing right now is that the country itself has gone so far without a national strategy, a national bubble, if you will, that you don't know where the virus is. There's no way to know where everything is. So even if you're talking about doing the bubble scenario, the only way you can even implement the bubble scenario is after 2 or 3 weeks that you even start getting the finalized plan going, because then you have to contact trace, isolate anybody that potentially is covered.
They should have done this like months ago. They saw the NBA do it months ago.
We've been doing it.
But you should have.
Excuse for it.
The White House should have. The country should have.
But we're not talking about them. We're talking about $1 billion corporation who has their own disposable funds that could have done this.
But here's the thing: that anytime that anybody even goes to that point of looking at it from a standpoint of the bubble, I still think the NFL's model, as far as just the way the games are played and the way the teams are spread out, and the sport itself and what it is you're looking at as far as the damage on a field or what have you, you can't. It's bubbling for the NFL, and I've said this time and time again here on this podcast. Because of the way the NFL itself is structured, because of the fact that you have this many players, because of the fact that you have this many coaches, trainers, everything else that run this sport, you cannot bubble this. You can't.
I mean, you can put 1,000 people in a hotel.
The NBA has how many players on each team?
53 on the active squad right now?
NBA.
Probably
NBA?
12 or 15.
12 or 15. How many teams got invited to the bubble? It wasn't the full 30?
Yeah, because some of them weren't nowhere.
You see where I'm going with this? That you completely trim and trim. Not to mention, if we're looking at a basketball court, what they didn't do was you can't have bubbles in all the different cities. They had one central location because, like basketball, you can play 100 games in a row on the fucking court. It ain't going to damage the court. You can't do that on a football field. And the way that the games themselves are run, you can't have a schedule in which people are waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning and watching football games all the way throughout. You can't do back-to-back games. You can't have a turnaround game in 2 days.
No, but you can get 2,000 person hotels near every stadium, and the only thing those hotels are doing is hosting.
You're talking about infrastructure. You gotta, like what the NBA had to do. They gave every single one of those players meals. Outside the infrastructure, there's people that have to do that. So you're talking about 32 teams that have to set up their own individual NBA-style bubble. And then you also have to look at what happens with travel between those teams. Are you going to only have one pilot that stays for one team, only one bus driver that stays for one team? It's a logistical nightmare. That's the only reason that you can't. That's the only reason the NFL has.
The NFL had time to do it.
They have the resources.
I think what you have to understand is that it was a sum of two things. Either we try it like this, or we don't have a season. I don't think there was an in between. I really don't.
I don't think they cared about an in between. They had
the in-between to me was an impossibility. I just didn't think and when we've talked about it, we talked about what sports could easily come back. Basketball wasn't not easily come back, but even had an opportunity to come back. It was basketball. We talked about golf. We talked about potentially hockey just because of the way that the rinks and everything work. Baseball to a certain degree just because of the amount of players that you have and the fact that they could do certain things.
That didn't work all for a long time.
You see what I'm saying? Is like the NFL, there is no more complex sport in the world as far as the amount of people it takes to run it than the National Football League.
It just doesn't seem like they had any plan in place.
All right, so moving on from that, do you guys want to go into what the Titans did and what we're hearing about the Titans now, or no?
I think that there's probably going to be more that comes out between now and when we do the podcast this weekend. Yeah. So we'll mention that, like I mentioned earlier, the Titans would probably look like they're going to have the hammer come down on them.
Yeah, but
I'm assuming more stuff is about to come out.
That it's going to be a historic penalties. Are we thinking? Because I also read, and this is all just things floating around on the internet. Nothing's confirmed, but I saw potentially loss of draft picks, automatically forfeiting perhaps the Steelers and the Bills game.
They should.
And then I also heard like massive fines.
You absolutely should. I'm going to say one last thing as far as the NFL COVID thing. I think that also the NFL did what a lot of us in this country did, which was not believe that our administration currently could be completely so fucked up in the sense of not having any sort of strategy. Like, they have gone so far off the deep end as far as where we should be right now. If we had done what we needed to do at the beginning of this pandemic as far as providing relief to people financially and also doing the shutdown properly, you're not going to have the situation you have currently in the NFL. You're not going to have the COVID cases that you have currently. Look at any of the other countries that did that shit. So I think the NFL also listening to Trump, who was talking up in all those goddamn meetings the same way they did with college football, they thought that maybe, and anybody that believed it is stupid, but even me, who hates some motherfucker, has no faith in him, but couldn't comprehend that it would be as bad as it is right now. And even if we had half the sort of strategy that just made sense, I think we're looking at this in a completely different prism.
Yeah, I mean, we would have had football back without
COVID. And moving on, moving forward with that.
Who's backing with that? Who's starting for the Patriots?
I don't know.
Hoyer Stidham, I don't know. Yeah.
Probably Stidham.
Because Hoyer did not.
Hoyer started, then he got benched.
Right.
Stidham threw like 4 picks.
Miami governor just said that the Dolphins now could have full capacity.
Well, DeSantis is a fucking idiot.
It's just more stupid.
Yeah.
That's why I appreciate Mike Holmgren's comment as far as Lambeau. Is there's like seeing no fans in the stadium at Lambeau Field feels just like a disheartening slap in the face as far as what it is that this country has been through or where it is that we are now, that in the most heralded venue maybe in all of sports, that we can't even have fans because of how terrible this administration and the government has been with their response to it.
I mean, it's the federal government and then individual states just haven't helped. Like DeSantis, if we harken back to the early days of COVID, their states were shutting down over spring break. And so where did the kids go? Florida, where they all went to the fucking beach because they weren't shut down. And then all those kids got COVID, and then they all got on planes and flew home from spring break and infected their friends and family. So it's I mean,
people are stupid.
I'm kind of used, and I know this sounds weird. I'm kind of used to the empty stadiums at this point. I mean, obviously, I've watched a disgusting amount of sports because I'm inside all the time, which everybody else should be as much as possible. But I'm watching this Houston A's game. I don't even notice that there's not people in the stands anymore. The sports themselves have been very good. I will say the NBA Finals has disappointed me a bit just because of the injuries to the Heat. But even that, it's been fun to watch. Basketball's been solid. Baseball's been solid.
NFL needs to do a better job as far as the guys pumping in the noise, though.
Yeah.
I've been watching.
That part is annoying. But
I usually watch multiple games at least at the 1 o'clock slot. So I usually have them muted anyway. But the gameplay hasn't, they don't play with less intensity, I don't think. I think it's the gameplay's been good.
Football's football. But Kadeem, do you want to discuss what happened with the Washington football team today?
Go with it. All right, the Washington football team announced they are benching Dwayne Haskins, and not just benching him. He might not even be active this week. He is going from starting quarterback of the Washington football team to third stringer. Kyle Allen's getting the next start. Alex Smith will be the backup. Now, I think I was texting you guys during the game last Sunday that I was starting to lose some faith in Dwayne Haskins at this point. I'm kind of over it. Look, there is no guy that I can look at as far as playing quarterback right now in the NFL that has started their career off with his worst setup is Dwayne Haskins. Getting thrown into the fire last year with a coach that didn't want you. That they made sure that they didn't draft you any help, really, at least to start off or coming into this year. It was a bad situation. Now, if you look at Dwayne's numbers overall, what it speaks to is a guy who's not bad. He's getting there, but it's a lot slower than I think anybody really wants it to be. And so far, we have not seen anything that jumps off the page of being all right, this is going to be the guy. Sometimes you see that in somebody's rookie year or even the second year. Nobody could watch Joe Burrow in his first couple games and not say, all right, that guy has something.
Yeah, he's got something working for him.
It's just something working for you, right? But there's nothing that's really saying that as far as Dwayne Haskins. Other than he doesn't turn the ball over a lot, but until the week before last where he had those 5 turnovers. I think with Dwayne right now is that it's not progressing as much as it needs to. You see him not taking shots down the field, a lot of dinking and ducking. And you've seen Scott Turner as far as the offense coordinator for Washington. You can see how scaled down the playbook is on offense, just trying to get him to handle it. And I don't think that they make the move unless they're starting to see either his work leading up to Sunday is not necessarily cutting it, or Sundays aren't cutting it itself either. Now, there's a lot of people in Washington right now that are going crazy over the fact that they're benching Dwayne because they don't think it's fair. I can understand that sentiment, but I also think that nobody expected the NFC East to be as terrible as it is right now. So after 4 games, we're a half a game behind the lead.
With how many wins?
With 1. So if you have a situation right now where you have a guy like Kyle Allen who's been sitting there on the sidelines, soaking up exactly what's happening with the offense, seeing how the guys are playing, and he knows Scott Turner's offense, he might give us a better opportunity to win. Now, Ron Rivera had the press conference today, and he said this does not mean it's the end for Dwayne. It might mean that he needs to do what Kyle Allen did, which is just step back for a sec and then come back in. But none of this matters as far as Dwayne or Kyle, because the best quarterback we have on our roster is Alex Smith. And if Alex Smith is getting into a position where he could actually play, put Kyle Allen in there, see if you can still develop him, have Dwayne still on those sidelines with a clipboard in his hand doing everything he needs to do. And maybe if we're still in the race as far as winning the division, you put Alex Smith in there who knows how to read a playbook and can soak up everything.
He ran West Coast offense almost his entire career.
So I'm saying there's a lot of things that are lining up right now. You got Terry McLaurin is one of the top leading receivers in the league. Antonio Gibson, the more that they feed him, is looking amazing on that offense. That's pretty much it. But there's, as far as the guys, the other wide receivers, Dontrell Inman, who's been a journeyman, he's actually had moments of little flashes here. Logan Thomas doesn't look half bad. I still want to see Antonio Gandy Golden get more involved. So, I mean, maybe you have somebody that's willing to press the ball down the field, which if you watch Kyle Allen last year, he had no problem doing that shit.
He'll air it out.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Also, I think it bears commenting on. So you posted that clip earlier. It was the
Thomas
tweet was
Davis.
Maybe he's not taking or paying attention or taking criticism well. And I think from the video, it's hard to see because it was grainy, but it looked like Dwayne Haskins and one of the linebackers.
Thomas
talking.
Davis.
Oh, was it?
A veteran.
He's like, stop staring. It's like, stop staring the receivers down. He's like, I'm going to put you to sleep and I'm going to get the ball. So apparently Dwayne is having a problem. Maybe it's because he's not comfortable with the playbook and he wants to make sure that that's the route that's being run, but he is staring down his receivers. And there's nothing easier for any defensive back or linebacker for that matter than watching the quarterback stare down his receiver and figure out where the ball's going.
And that especially happened in the 5 turnover game. You could see each one of them. It wasn't the ball was getting jatted up or what have you. He was staring down his receiver, his first read during the entire thing.
Wait, and it wasn't
enough Redskins talk.
No, wait, and that wasn't the issue.
We have a hard stop.
No, we can go over my hard stop back a couple minutes.
Okay.
The problem I had with that video is Dwayne was like, nah. He's like, I'm not doing that. And then He was like,
I don't have a problem with that though.
But he's like, go watch the video. This isn't practice.
In the moment, yeah. Like,
I think people are reading. I think people are reading too much into that moment right now, trying to make sense of the Dwayne Haskins thing. I will say overall, like this. Overall, you'd like to see a young gun take more advice from the vet. I get that, but what I really want to hear is I've heard from Alex Smith, I've heard from Kyle Allen that Dwayne, when he's in the room as far as quarterbacks, soaks up as much information as he can. So I'm willing to just listen to what Ron Rivera said, which is that right now Dwayne's not progressing as good as he needs to. Look, Dwayne Haskins had one good year at Ohio State, one great year at Ohio State. He has barely played quarterback. If he needs to sit down for a while and just learn, then maybe that's going to be the best for him. Like, I know that Jay Gruden didn't do him any favors when it came to that. I think right now in Washington we're trying to make sense of it because of what could have been. If you knew that Dwayne Haskins was going to be on a bench 4 games in, why don't we have Cam Newton on our team? Why didn't we have certain guys that we at least started? But Dwayne did not have a preseason. He got thrown to the Wolves last year. This team is not really that good. So maybe we're just trying to see what's going to work best. What I will say that gives me the most hope, Dwayne Haskins is Dan Snyder's guy. His son went to the same school as Dwayne. There's a reason that we drafted him even when Jay Gruden didn't want. Ron Rivera's in his first year as head coach. He's 4 games in, and he had the wherewithal and the balls to bench that first-round quarterback. If there's anybody that needs to hang their hat on anything as far as Washington, it's knowing Dan Snyder is no longer in charge.
Yeah, because there's no way that would have happened.
Hopefully so. All right, so going back to our picks from last week, Ryan won. Ooh. Congratulations.
Did he outright win? I thought he was.
He won on the tiebreaker. The Jets Broncos game.
And the Jets almost could have had it.
You picked the Jets for some damn reason.
No, whoa. The Jets almost had that game.
Yeah, those were 2 god-awful teams.
The Jets almost had that game. I don't want to hear this shit like I was that far off. Not to mention the Jets have Joey Flacco's back, baby. So don't sleep on my Jets.
Oh, you picking them this week too?
No, but I mean we'll do the picks.
Okay. All right. All right. So first pick, Bucks Bears. Who you got?
Ooh. Did we not do this? We did this on Saturday.
No, we did not. Bucks.
No. All right.
Yeah, Bucks.
All right. We're all on the Bucks. Rams, Washington football team.
Washington football team, baby. Kyle Allen, 5 TDs, no interceptions.
All right. Rapid fire.
I gotta take the whiff.
Okay, cool. Bills.
James, you gotta say who you're taking too.
I'm taking the Rams. Like, come on, Bills Titans.
I will take the Bills on a forfeit.
Buffalo.
All right, we all got the Bills. Eagles, Steelers.
Ugh.
Steelers.
Same. Cards, Jets.
Go ahead, K-Dot.
Give me the Jets. Let's go Jets. Let's go Joey Flacco. He's not an average QB.
Who you got?
I got the Cardinals, although they haven't been very good the last 2 weeks.
When's Le'Veon coming back?
Raiders, Chiefs. Y'all all picking the Chiefs? Cool. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, that's a 4
Jags.
Are you picking the
Texans?
Chiefs too?
No.
Oh.
Jags, Texans.
Ooh.
I got the Texans.
Could this be the game the Texans after Bill O'Brien leaves?
Yeah. I'll take Houston.
Give me Jacksonville.
All right. Bengals, Ravens. I got Ravens.
Fuck.
Make a decision.
I'm going to take Joey B.
Okay. Panthers, Falcons. I got the Falcons.
I'll take the Panthers.
Give me the Panthers. Dan Quinn gets fired next week.
All right. Dolphins, Niners. I got the Niners.
No. Niners.
Do we know if Tua's playing? Oh, no, they're sticking with
Fitzpatrick's playing.
Yeah, I'll take Niners.
Okay.
Wait, who's the quarterback for the Niners? He came out slinging.
Mullins.
Cedric Mullins.
Giants, Cowboys.
Can you go for a tie?
You could.
A tie?
You want to go for a tie?
You'll lose it, but you can go.
I'll take the Giants.
Okay. I got the Cowboys. Colts, Browns. I got the Browns.
I'm going
Give me the Colts. I'm just feeling it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think the Browns are real. I think that
Broncos, Pats. I got the Pats.
Give me the Broncos.
Yeah. Same.
That's a stupid pick. These last 2 picks are just feeling it. It's not anything realmed in science or society. I'm using the Trump method to get through these picks.
There's no science involved.
All right, Vikings, Seahawks. I got the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
All right. Chargers, Saints. I got the Chargers.
Give it up, Saints.
I'll take Chargers. Wait, is Michael Thomas back?
Yep.
Saints.
Okay.
You got a tiebreaker, or was that?
The Chargers Saints is the Monday night. The Bears Bucks is Thursday night. So that'll be the tiebreaker.
Wait, have we all won one so far?
Nah, I got 2. Yeah. We all each won at least one. I got 2 and y'all both have 1.
I feel like I don't know if I feel
and
confident.
You won 2 weeks ago.
Didn't I tie with you?
I won the tiebreaker. I think I won the tiebreaker.
I thought me and you split before we won the tiebreaker.
You might be right.
I think we're both at 2.
All right, cool. Let me change that. 2-2-1. All right.
This is my week, boys. This is my week.
With in regards to the NBA Finals, like, do you guys think the Heat will come back?
No.
Bam is coming back. To me, it's
Bam
a
was
lot
back
about
last game.
Yeah, Bam played yesterday.
No, Bam played the last game.
Goran Dragic.
I didn't get to watch.
Yeah, Dragic is out.
Is Dragic coming back at all?
Don't think so.
I mean, the Heat were winning. Like it
was a close game.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my 7 games. I think it goes against science, but there had to be some point where one of these teams are going to be down. As far as 3-1, I get it. Look, I know that Jimmy Butler had to do 40-point triple-double to fucking win one, but
he's one of 3 players.
But that was
in
without
history.
Bam.
So my thought is they were in this game. I know that LeBron is hungry for this thing. I can't take anything away from him.'s fucking great. The Lakers are just amazing. I'm not giving up on the Heat. So regardless of whether or not I think it's the right move, I'm rolling with them.
That's fine.
I'm sticking with my 4-1, although I think they might squeak another one out because these games have been closer than I thought. AD has not been playing super well for a couple of these games. He's either like fully turned on or just very average.
Lakers are going to wear the Black Mamba uniforms for games.
Oh, yeah, no, it's they win in 5.
I know I'm rooting against them.
All right.
I like Kobe. I've come around on Kobe. I'm still not rooting for a Lakers uniform or a Laker grade. Come on.
I mean, I can understand that.
Lakers.
Another thing that happened, congrats to the Seattle Storm. They won the ship.
They swept. It wasn't even good.
3-0.
They won by like 40.
Yeah, they whooped that ass.
They won by I'm 40. I'm a man. Or in this case, a woman.
So the Las Vegas Aces. So I hope that is not a indictment on the game this week for the Raiders, who also play in Las Vegas. I hope we don't lose by 40.
Dude, that stadium is sick, though. I didn't really get to take a good look at it until y'all played the Bills. That stadium is sick.
Yeah.
With that fucking whatever that fire thing is, doesn't need to be there, but I'm very glad it is.
That's Al Davis's torch. But also the fact that they have a club, it's damn near like a club in the end zone. So when we go from the bachelor party, we're gonna be in that section.
That's cool.
It's gonna be hilarious and fun.
Do they? How many knives are you allowed to bring in? Because I don't want to bring too many. Is there like a max 3?
No, they're all. You can't bring them in the stadium. The parking lot's fair game.
Yeah.
Oh, did they hand them back to you as you're walking out?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
They hand it back. They send it back. Says sorry for the loss. Happy stabbing.
If you can fight, you'll be all right.
There's no coat check. It's just for shanks.
Yep.
Here's your ticket, sir.
All right. So final thoughts. Kadeen, you first.
You sure? I thought you.
Yeah.
Said
what did we learn?
That's why I'm not going second after you. I'm going giving you right. So you first, Kadeen.
Why not just go last?
No, just go now.
Oh, all right. You guess you have something heartfelt or something to say.
No.
All right.
I don't.
Bottom line is just going to be repeated what I usually do. Wear your fucking mask, social distance. The president is a fucking cocksucker. He pulled out of stimulus talks when it came to Nancy Pelosi because right now that motherfucker's in the White House, raging it the fuck up, having fever dreams, tweeting 100 goddamn tweets a minute.
He's so high on whatever drugs they gave him.
Lost his goddamn mind. And we unless you get some adults in the goddamn room to figure out what the fuck is going on. Right now, I'm hearing GOP senators who look. At the end of the day, I'd like to bash each one of you guys. That goes too far. I want to cockslap all of you for putting us in for defending and putting us in a situation where we have to deal with this asshole as president. But stand the fuck up now. If not now, when? Because we can't. The fucker left Walter Reed took his mask off immediately, and did the thing that all asthmatics know you do. The dude is dying, and he's just doing.
He's not. You can't kill that much evil, dude. You know that.
Probably not. I mean, he's probably just fucking Satan reincarnated or some shit. But look, at the end of the fucking day,
although they did, they're gonna sign more stimulus.
This prick. We have to stop this prick. He is basically telling he will not sign stimulus unless he gets reelected. The same way that tax stuff,
he went back on that today, by the way.
Oh, no. He doesn't want, he's talking about, he told Nancy to basically go fuck off last night. Then after he rage come down, Nancy, if you put a bill across my desk right now, I'll sign it. You fucking bipolar piece of shit.
All he's gonna do is sign the airplane, the $1,200 checks, and then PPP. That's it.
Fuck our president.
Right.
What if I can sum up what K-Dot's saying? He's saying,
"Are you white explaining for me, motherfucker?" No, I'm kidding.
You didn't. Usually when you have a paragraph, there's a conclusion. I'm just sticking it in there for you, bud. Saying go vote. Let's see. We're on international break for soccer. From what I've seen, there's been some good games. Unfortunately, I was in court all day.
Mexico beat Netherlands today.
Really?
1-0.
That's big. And then I read this morning, I believe, that Gary Bettman, who is the commissioner for the National Hockey League, is anticipating that we start the new season. I believe it was December 1st. So we don't even have that long to wait, boys and gals. And we'll be able to see the new Capitals as they are constructed under the new coach. Also, NHL draft was last night, continuing today. The Caps moved up to 24 to draft. God damn it, what's his name? He's a guy who should have gone top 10, but he's got a lot of injury concerns. He's a sick puck handler. So Caps have some pieces this year, and I heard through the grapevine that the Caps are signing the King from the Rangers.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna have a 40-year-old. We're gonna have
a goalkeeper.
Yeah, Lundqvist.
What happened to Holtby?
Holtby, we can't afford to keep him.
Oh, he's gone. Okay.
Well, he's not gone yet, but these are the rumblings that we're gonna sign Lundqvist on a 1-year deal while we keep our backup was hurt in a RV accident or something, and he's got to keep rehabbing. We don't want to throw him in there and have him get more hurt. So, we get Lundqvist in. He's a solid goaltender. We got a good team in front of him. I think it would be pretty cool. I'd like to have the King in for a season. That would be cool to end his career. So.
All right.
Also, wear your fucking mask. Stop being a dick.
Oh, Ryan, I packed that. 1 of 25.
Nice.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley. Yep.
Well, if he ever plays again,
he will. My final thought is the fact that Ronaldo's rape case is now being opened again. It's moving forward in Las Vegas. So this was like over a decade, like in the making.
Well, I think the the offense was 10 years ago, and then they didn't really. That
was like 2007 or 2010.
They didn't really. I don't think they filed anything, but there's no statute on stuff like this. So.
Yeah. So.
Well, they're getting it started, but we'll see if it goes anywhere because his lawyers are going to be fighting that tooth and fucking nail.
Yeah, but you remember the first time we brought this up, we were talking about how like ESPN tried to reach out to the lawyer, but then they found the address, went there, and then they said nobody was there. Like nobody ever was there, which is pretty weird. And then you can't get to him in Italy because of how the city of Juve, the team Juve and the city that surrounds them, how they operate, which is also weird. But I'm waiting to see what happens.
Gonna need to serve him with one of those international warrants. Those are kind of hard to come by.
Yeah.
All right.
If you haven't, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Legally, if I was Ronaldo, I would play only in Europe, and I would skip the U.S. tour.
That's what he did.
And I would continue to do so.
Yeah,
I remember.
The summer that the story came out again, He was supposed to be in the U.S. on like Juve's like summer tour, and nope.
Yeah,
I had to rehab my knee.
He did the shit lock him up. If you haven't, Joe Biden gave a speech at Gettysburg yesterday, day before yesterday, that I strongly suggest anybody watch. He also quoted Doc Rivers in it. It's a hell of a speech. Cool. Please do that. Also vote. Beyond that, Death Star go fucking boom.
Boom!
Peace.
Later, guys.